Ah, the start of a new act. There is absolutely nothing like it in the Valorant community. A new map, a new battle pass, a new exciting bundle of Zed skins. This is what the community needs to revitalize the game at the moment. With that being said, what's going on, ProGuides family? It's your host, Sergeant Frost, and today we have the patch 3.05 rundown. It seems like much of what we have seen from the leaks in the past is true, so let's hop right into it. As I'm sure we all know, Act 2 is here, and that means the rank leaderboards will be reset as well. However, your rank should still be intact, so there's not much to worry about. You'll need to play one placement game and you should be able to get right back into the mix. But if you're looking to start the new act off right and get a head start on the competition, we heavily encourage you to check out our new 3-day free trial on ProGuides.com, where you'll gain access to hundreds of lessons from your favorite pro players, along with a free coaching session with one of our Radiant and Immortal level coaches. Whether it's to brush up on the fundamentals or take some of your game knowledge to the next level, we've got you covered. Just sign up with the link in our description and begin the climb today. First things first, let's cover the biggest piece of news for this patch. The new game-changing map Fracture is now live with patch 3.05. Fracture is a medium to large-ish map that has some unique gameplay features like across-the-map ziplines, revolutionary spawns for attackers and defenders, 4 ultimate orbs, and the map's theme has 2 different environment biomes on opposite sides of the map. Since this map is going to take a lot of playtime to get used to, the devs are going to give us a Fracture-only queue that you can jump into with friends. Just like the map Breeze, Fracture will only be available in customs and in this mode for 2 weeks before becoming available for competitive queue for ranked and unrated modes. Honestly, we definitely need this, because Fracture has some very interesting new mechanics, so I'll definitely want to learn it before playing it in ranked. For our first agent change, Killjoy is getting her turret brought down in power levels a bit. This time, Riot is taking a different approach to nerfing R2-D2, and the bullet tagging her turret has is being reduced from 72.5% to 29.5%. This will cause her turret to slow for much less whenever it tags an opponent. As an avid Killjoy player, it hurts to see her turret get nerfed like this, but I do understand why it's happening. As it stands, Killjoy's turret not only acts like a sentry turret, but it's also a free slow as well. On pistol rounds, it's really hard to bring her turret down. Her slow makes getting hit by this turret a death trap, as it makes it way too easy for enemies to line up headshots on you while you're slowed. And since you have a pistol, it's hard to take the turret out in general. I think that out of all the possible nerfs to Killjoy's turret, this one seems the most reasonable, and it could tone down the turret's annoyance factor without making her feel weaker as an agent. The next agent up is RAZE, and she has received both a buff and a slight nerf at the same time. RAZE's Boombot is getting its max damage reduced from 125 to 80, its minimum damage is being reduced from 50 to 30, and its price is being reduced from 400 to 300. While the damage nerf seems substantial, I would say that this shouldn't hurt her viability at all. Her Boombot is typically meant to be used for info gathering, scouting locations, and to push enemies off an angle when you know where they are. It's not expected or likely that RAZE's bot will connect with the target and make it close enough to blow up and do damage. So this damage nerf really doesn't affect what her Boombot does primarily. But on the good side, her Boombot's price is being reduced a little bit to 300 credits. This is a nice buff for RAZE mainly because she can now buy a Ghost or Frenzy on pistol rounds without being called a troll by teammates. So with this Boombot change, you gain some and you lose some. Overall though, I would say that this change is helpful for RAZE players. Next up, Breach's Aftershock is getting a nice change. His Aftershock now deals damage to the following abilities: Killjoy's Alarm Bot, Nano Swarm and Lockdown, Cypher's Tripwire, Reyna's Leer, Sage's Barrier Orb, SOVA's Recon Bolt, and KO's 0 Point. This is a nice buff for Breach because his Aftershock can now be used like a RAZE grenade to clear out placed utility when you know it's there. On the same note, Brimstone and SOVA's ultimates will now do the same in terms of dealing damage to placed utility. This is a great consistency change that Riot has made to make sure that damaging utility doesn't just magically not do damage to certain things, but it's also going to shake up the meta a little bit in my opinion. I think Killjoy is going to be hurt a bit by this change indirectly, since Breach now has a tool that can basically directly counter her ultimate, and a lot of her utility as well. But of course, Breach is currently not a very popular agent, so we'll have to see if this is worth it enough for people to start using him again as a counter to setups. But in the case of Brimstone and SOVA, this won't necessarily change their viability. But Brimstone can now use his ultimate to break defensive setups, although that doesn't seem worth it. We'll have to see, but Killjoy is theoretically being hit hard by these changes. Now, let's get into the comp updates, as there are some very anticipated changes that are launching with patch 3.05. First off, let's talk about the biggest rank change of this patch. Immortal 1, 2, and 3 are coming back in Act 2. Us high elo players can rejoice, because we have complained that we wanted Immortal tiers back for ages now, as they give us a much better matchmaking experience. It's been a long time coming and I'm beyond happy to see that it's back officially. The leaderboard is going to update in order to distinguish between those of you in each Immortal tier. I can imagine rank matchmaking will be a little tighter now, and Diamonds will also have an easier time climbing up now, since they presumably won't be running into Radiance on occasion. On the same note, Riot has also stated their intentions to make higher ranks more populated, so we might see more representation and therefore better ranked experiences for everyone. Also, since Immortal tiers are coming back, that means Diamonds will have rank restrictions for which Immortal tier they can queue with. For Diamond 1, it's Immortal 1, for Diamond 2, it's Immortal 2, and for Diamond 3, it's Immortal 3. This is now the new adjusted comp rank distribution for high elo. To help celebrate and bring in the new act, there's a new premium battle pass system with cool rewards coming with this new act. Upgrading to the premium battle pass will now grant a 3% experience boost towards the battle pass tier progression for all match-made games until the end of Act 2. This premium battle pass feature is not retroactive, so upgrading early will give you the access to the most amount of XP. It's also worth mentioning that the XP boost does not apply towards daily or weekly missions, unfortunately. Lastly, to finish this video off, let's briefly mention the in-game social and PC performance updates. Riot has updated the AFK detection logic to deter players from farming battle pass and account levels by AFKing in game modes like deathmatch and snowball fight. This is actually a very nice change because oftentimes I will see players go AFK in deathmatch and the rotating game modes just so that they can farm XP for the battle pass or whatever else they're trying to level up. In terms of performance updates, the devs have updated the ping calculation to exclude server frame time, and they have updated markers used by NVIDIA Reflex. NVIDIA Reflex is a nice feature that is available within NVIDIA 2000 and 3000 series graphics cards, as they help reduce input latency in their games. This update should allow for Reflex to better pace frames by adding present markers as well as fixes to some older markers. As a 3090 GPU owner myself, I'm happy to see that the devs have not abandoned upgrading this Reflex feature and making it even better for helping us run our games even smoother. Well guys, that's all we have for the patch 3.05 rundown. If you enjoyed this video, then be sure to drop a like and consider subscribing to our channel. We upload new videos just like this one every day, and the best way to stay notified of that is ringing that notification bell. Also, don't forget to check out ProGuides.com to gain access to some truly amazing coaching. This has been Sergeant Frost, and I'll see you all again in the next video.